All aboard the rocket ship. Today's adventure will travel back in time to 200 BCE and explore the fascinating ancient origins of the Nordic mythology. This ancient religion lasted until the beginning of the medieval age, when Christian movements began converting Nordic people.
This polytheistic old tradition consisted mainly of Germanic people, many of whom gradually became the violent, pillaging Vikings we know of today. Now, many adherents believe these gods and goddesses were attributed to certain earthly features, the afterlife, and many human characteristics that humans idolized, like Odin, Freya, and Loki.
Their religion was central to the Nordic lifestyle throughout northern Europe, where the freezing climate hindered their crops. This pagan faith was also centered around warfare and fertility, since Viking communities were located sparsely across the continent and often engaged in pillaging. Did you know, though, Dog, that historians believe Nordic mythology is heavily based upon the Viking conquest that discovered strange and unique cultures from other places?
Wow, that's great, Carlos. Okay, let's go, team.
Our first destination.
Oh my goodness, look, it's the great ash tree, Yggdrasil.
Wait, what's the Great Ash Tree?
Well, the Nordics believed that the universe was supported by the great ash tree, whose roots connected the 9 worlds. For the Nordic people, the tree was believed to be the center of the cosmos.
They also believed that the supernatural world was home to the gods, giants, dwarves, and human spirits. Hence, the Nordic religion was polytheistic and transcendent.
But why were the gods so important for the Nordic people?
The gods were central to their belief system. The 2 tribes of gods, being the Aesir and the Vanir, were responsible for different aspects of Nordic life. The Aesir were associated with power and war, where on the other hand, Vanir were associated with cultivation. By pleasing the gods, the Nordic people believed they received protection over their land, people, animals, and warriors, as well as provided sustenance and fertility.
However, no god had supreme power over any of the 9 worlds. Do you guys know the Nordic principal beliefs?
Actually, yes, I do. The Nordic people believed in predestination and the afterlife. Predestination described the belief that the gods had predetermined the life and destinies of humans. On the other hand, the belief of life after death describes how the dead would be sent to either the realm of Niflheim or Hell, where neither were depicted as friendly. The Nordics also believed that the fallen warriors would be sent to Valhalla, or Folkvangar, where they would share stories in the company of Odin and Freyja.
Actually, you missed one.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You forgot about the beliefs of the ancestors.
Oh yes, the ancestors were significant to the afterlife, as the Nordics believed they inhabited the worlds of the dead and that they could influence the life of their descendants.
Wow, how interesting. I think we've seen enough. Time for the next stop.
Have you guys seen Thor's Rock?
No?
No.
Then let's quickly visit Iceland. As you can see, the Viking ruins of Thor's Rock demonstrate how brutal the Nordics were. They would rake the sacrifices back on the stone and sprinkle the blood across the sacred space. Look, you can still see the dried blood.
Oh my, that is so brutal.
Check out Toland Man as well. He was discovered in Denmark in a peat bog and died from strangulation as a sacrifice.
Now listen to this, guys. This is amazing. The Germanic people regularly conducted rituals that pleased their deities through sacrifices and extravagant banquets, especially Odin, who demanded human sacrifices. Archaeologists even believe the construction of idols occurred so that people could feed them bread and meat.
Oh, I see. Moving on. Feasts were another ritual that was valued by the Nordic people to honour their gods and goddesses. This involved mimicking their feasting that would have taken place in Valhalla, sacrificing animals like oxes, and having banquets with the entire community at various stages of the year. By having these feasts during winter and spring, they requested their deities to treat them with suitable crop conditions and success with pillages that summer.
No way! Have you heard that the Nordic parents even wished for divine intervention at the separate stages of their child's life? They prayed to the goddesses of fertility, Frigg and Freyja, and even blessed the child with water at birth. This protection was then extended through wedding rituals and into the afterlife by cremation. The deceased individuals' remains were then placed into a style of boat associated with their social status. Look here at the Osberg Viking burial ship discovered in Vestfjord, Norway. Inside the boat there were the remains of 2 women and multiple sacrificed animals. There were also sleighs and a car, which suggests that the women were of high status as a means of their transportation.
Quickly, we're running out of time.
Yes, listen, like other ancient religions, the centrality of nature was crucial to their beliefs, as the Nordics believed the gods provided through the environment. Sacred spaces known as V often took the form of trees, sacred groves, springs, underground caves, and hogs, an altar consisting of a pile of stones or wood.
And within sacred spaces, sacrifices called blots were performed, where the blood of the sacrifice would be sprinkled onto the statues and the floor, due to a Nordic belief that the gods possess supernatural powers through blood sacrifice.
These areas were marked around by fences to encourage those not to practice violent behaviours in these spaces, otherwise they would become outcasts. Germanic and Viking individuals also referred to these places as Friogoror.
Wow. Eventually, Nordic people built temples on these sites and adorned these structures with gold, icons, wall hangings, and sacred fires. Although there is limited evidence of the Viking Age, German medieval historian Adam of Bremen vividly described the Uppsala castle especially, with the statues and tapestries dedicated to the three gods, Thor, Odin, and Freyr.
Let's return. I've definitely seen enough.
So, audience, what have you learned from all this? Right, okay, let's continue. Why was the Nordic faith so meaningful and central to their society?
Nordic communities survived in difficult weather conditions across northern Europe, where temperatures often reached below freezing and affected the growth of crops. From these crises, Nordic people relied upon their faith to rationalize or make meaning when they experienced challenges. In despair, they believed that the deities they worshipped would intervene and lift these burdens.
The religion also justified further warfare to occupy lands that could produce successful crops and gain other resources. Thus, raiding other communities with such brutal means contributed to rituals like feasts and human sacrifices that occurred in order to please them and continue their prosperous lives.
That's amazing. I didn't know that. Maybe that's why Norse mythology doesn't have an explicit ethical framework for adherents to abide by.
Yes, exactly. Rather, their faith guided the Nordic people to develop virtues such as honour and wisdom that were essential in warfare and agriculture. These rituals and beliefs reinforced the purpose of valiantly dying in battle and worshipping their deities to achieve a noble life on earth as well as in the afterlife. Hence, these religious activities heavily influenced their lifestyles by providing a distinctive search for meaning, especially in the belief in Ragnarok.
Yo, what's Ragnarok?
Many believed that their ultimate purpose was to reach Valhalla or Helheim through death. Eventually, they would be needed by the gods to fight against the impending Ragnarok.
Look out!
Is there any chance that we may have travelled to Ragnarok?
Oh my goodness gracious me, Jakey. I think you may be right. Look at all the fighting that's going on.
Quick, get us out of here.
Okay, Doug.